Hey everyone, my name is Megan Ballengee and I'm one of the librarians here at Alkek Library. I'm the undergraduate librarian, so if you're a student here, you may have seen me in one of your English 1310 or 1320 classes. I'm also the Family and Consumer Sciences librarian, so if you are in one of those majors, you may have also seen me there. So this Maker Day session is going to be about making masks from t-shirts. And this is all no-sew and using very few supplies that you probably already have at home. So first, I'm going to show you the 3 different masks that we're going to make today. And I'm going to try them on. So this is the first one. So this is t-shirt fabric. And if you have 2 elastic hair ties or rubber bands, that's how you make that one. Then the second one is out of t-shirt fabric also, and this is in 1 piece. And sorry, this one's white, so it kind of looks like underwear, but just pick your colors wisely. And then this is the third one, also of t-shirt fabric. This one has a few pieces, but I like how this one fits the best on my face. And you might have to do some experimenting to see how everything fits, depending on what materials you use. Okay, so those are the 3 masks. And what I'm going to do is first, before we get started, I'm going to show you where you can go online to find all the step-by-step instructions. So if you're taking notes or you're trying to do this along with the video, you have a resource to come back to. And if there are questions as I go along, feel free to go ahead, and if somebody can read them from chat, that's fine, and I'll also have time for questions at the end. So does everybody see my screen? All right, so we're on the library website, and I'm going to show you how you get to our Maker Day LibGuide. So if you go to the middle part of the screen, just under Start Your Research, you can click Guides. And then here in the center of the screen, I'm going to type in Virtual Maker Day. And I had already typed that in earlier, so that's why it's showing up. And then it's the first result. This is our LibGuide. So it has more information about our other Maker Days that we've had. It has the schedule for today. And also, you scroll just a little bit, I have some mask sewing resources here. So to start with, there's another resource that I want to mention that goes along with this. And this is a LibGuide that we also have at the library that's just about evaluating media sources, and there is some information about COVID-19. So since we're talking about masks, this is all about how to evaluate news sources, and there is a tab here that's on the homepage that's all about how to find reputable information about COVID-19. So lots of good information here. I'm going to actually go back now. Oops. Okay. sorry about that. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, here, this is where I was before. So that first link, that's about evaluating media sources. So the reason I bring that up is I'm going to show you the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, their guide for face coverings. They're the government entity that is suggesting that everyone wear face masks, and also has information about how to wear them and care for them properly. And this is the information about each of the masks that we're going to make. So the first two that I showed you, those both have instructions on the CDC website. And then the third one has a YouTube video. That's right here at the bottom. So that's where you can go to find all of these instructions. Let me go ahead and click on this and show you the CDC website. This has all the information about how to wear a cloth face covering, how to make homemade ones, how to wash them, and a regular washing machine is fine. They do show you how you can make sewn masks. So that's there as well if you want to try that out. Also, if you're a little more crafty, there are a ton of different styles of masks and tutorials that you can find on YouTube right now. So here's that second mask and the third one. All right, so do I have any questions so far?
No, you do not.
Awesome. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to change my camera over to my supplies here. I have to change a few settings. Hold on just a second. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I want to make sure that it's not mirrored because I don't want to confuse myself. Okay. All right. Can everybody see some fabric there? Okay, awesome. So we're going to start with the first mask, which was this one with the watermelons on it. So for this mask, you're going to need some scissors, or if you have a bandana, you can use that as well. 2 hair ties or 2 rubber bands. I also have a ruler here, and I just grabbed a Sharpie because if you're not a freestyle scissor user, you may want to mark things out before you start going to town. All right, so this piece of fabric is about 10 by 20 inches long, and this is t-shirt fabric. Depending on how thick it is, you may want to use less fabric. This had originally on those instructions said that you can use 20, a square that's 20 by 10, but I found with this fabric it's too thick, so I just cut it in half. So you're gonna have to experiment a little bit. I'm turning it over, so this has got the right side down. And this one's really easy. You just fold, we're gonna make 2 folds, so 1 up, 1 down like this. And then you're gonna put your bands on. And depending on the size of your face, you may have to try this a few different times to see how wide you want to put these bands, because these are where you're gonna put the bands over your ears. So then we just fold in, and then this is where you're gonna put your nose. So that one is super easy to make, and you can make adjustments to it. And then to wash it, the CDC just recommends every time you wear it out, you go out and about, just to take, you can take this apart and throw it in the wash machine, and then you're good to go again. Any questions on that mask?
Yes, we have one from Donna. Any tips on how to keep the fabric edges from fraying?
Okay, so this is t-shirt fabric, which is a knit, which shouldn't fray. If you are using a bandana, it will probably have finished edges. I don't have any other fabric in here, so I can't grab anything to show you. The t-shirt fabric may also curl up a little bit, but I don't think it'll be a big problem with this type of mask. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
Cool.
So there you go.
Other questions? I'll move on to the second one.
No other questions at this time.
All right. I'm just going to put these finished ones up here. All right, so now we're on to the second mask, which was this white one that's cut in one piece. So it is a little bit easier just to throw it in the wash. Okay, so this one is what I did is just put a t-shirt flat on this table, and then I just cut the bottom off. So here's the seam that would be on the side. So this is double-sided. So this is 2 layers, and this is just folded. It's not cut on this side, because this is ultimately where your nose is gonna go. Okay, so this is about 6 inches by like 12, so like 14, 16 inches long. It just depends on how long you want the ties to be, and this is where the ties are. And I made a little path. I drew out where I'm going to be cutting, and this is a tip for you when you're cutting fabric. Try to make longer cuts instead of little tiny cuts, because it will make your lines smoother. You can see on this bottom edge, it's really kind of jagged, and I just went through and cut it really quick. On this one, I'm cutting with a little bit slower with longer cuts, and it's just going to make a nicer edge.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
We do have a question from Trisha. She's asking, is there a way to do this mask with a double layer of material?
This one, you could, but the issue would be it's not going to form to your face very well. With this one, and the reason I'm using t-shirt fabric with these is it stretches too. If you were using a different type of fabric that's not a stretch or a soft fabric, it may just look like you put a big Post-it note on your face, and it's not going to keep that area by your ears tight, and it's not going to go around your face, because your face is a 3-dimensional object, and you you want to make sure that it can form to your face a little bit. Since we're not sewing these, we're not going to be putting in any darts or anything. That's something that you can put in that would help form a shape. So I would suggest t-shirt fabric for this second one. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, she says, cool, thanks, and LOL.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I did, I just cut out this big square. And I had already experimented with this one. I measured 4 inches from this fold. And then I just made these, the straps, they're like 1 inch long. So when you unfold it, this is what you have. Oh, that's kind of hard to see. You have a square that you can then stretch over the top of your head and tie, and then these bottom parts that you can tie around your neck. Here's the diagram of it again. And this one, I will say, I used the white fabric, and it was a little thinner than that other fabric. And I would probably suggest, if you're going to make this style of mask, to use a thicker t-shirt material. Most of the masks that the CDC recommends are double layered at least. You don't want a lot of holes in the fabric. You want it to be pretty solid. So that's the second mask. Any questions on that one?
No questions right now.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the third one. And this is the mask that is in that YouTube video. So this one's not on the CDC website, but I picked this one because it's also a mask that is made out of t-shirt fabric, and it's very easy to make. And it also fits and forms to your face very easily. So what I did was I just cut out a piece of the t-shirt fabric, and this one is about like 7.5 inches by, oh, this one's a little bit longer, so like 17 inches long. And none of these measurements are really, you know, written in stone. You're just gonna have to try it out and see if it works for you. And then I also have 2 strips of t-shirt fabric that I just cut. And this is what they look like when you stretch them a little bit. So I just wanted to show you how you do that. So here is a strip of the t-shirt fabric cut. It's about 1 inch wide. And when you take it and pull on it a little bit, people make t-shirt yarn that you can crochet and knit with. Because it's stretchy, it kind of just stretches out, and then it just turns into a little kind of stretchy string. So that's what I did with these 2 pieces. All right, so for this mask, you lay out your string. I don't know, like 7 inches apart. Try that first. And then just fold the sides into the middle. And this top one, I'm actually gonna tie, because this one is the one that's gonna go around the top of your head. And when you put this one on, if you noticed before when I put it on in the video, I held this part to my face and then put this up over my head. Otherwise it falls apart. So what you'll do is put this over the top of your head, and then you just tighten this until it forms to your face. So I'm going to turn the camera around so I can do that. So I've got a hold of my mask, and I'm just going to pinch it with my fingers to keep all the layers together. Yeah, and someone's commenting on the glasses fogging up. I have tried a bunch of different ways to keep from fogging up, and I haven't found a good way yet. So if anybody has any suggestions, that would be great. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Just some good comments from folks saying this is really cool. Amanda said, I didn't know that it would do that. I think she's referring to the adjustments. Michelle says, this is cool. Patty said, I like the third one. Lisa says, very cool. I like this last one as well.
Yeah, that one was my favorite. As far as fitting anyone's face, I think it's the easiest one. The only thing is when you do wash it, you have to disassemble it and put it back together. But I think it's a nice one just to keep in your car or in your backpack or whatever. So other questions? I know I'm ending a lot earlier than my session was supposed to, but.
Yeah, we have plenty of time before our next session if anyone wants to comment more.
I had to run out in the middle. Did you do any of the ones that actually required sewing, or
No.
were all of these the non-sewing ones?
Yeah, all of these, just so that everybody had all the supplies. I'm assuming most people have an extra t-shirt, scissors, and right now, as far as sewing supplies go, it's kind of hard to find things. Not a lot of places that offer sewing supplies are open. One place I have seen small hand sewing kits, so like a few needles, a few little spools of thread, and some other supplies. I saw at Dollar Tree, they have a little dollar sewing kit up by the registers. Other places, I mean, you can try ordering online, but things are taking a long time right now. But there are a ton of, I mentioned at the beginning of the session, there are a ton of different styles of masks you can try out. If you just search on YouTube, search easy ones or sewn masks, you can find some other tutorials if you have other supplies.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I guess we are done with this one. I'm going to bring Jessica back on. Thank you so much, Megan. Oh, wait, I have a question. One last question. How long were the straps on that third one that you did?
This one, I didn't measure them. I guess they're a little bit longer, like 24 inches, but this like fabric is, has a little more stretch, well, a lot more stretch on this t-shirt. So this one was one of my t-shirts, so I just cut off the bottom and just cut 2 of that length. But you can also tie them together if you don't have a really long shirt.
Okay, and Patty says thanks.
You're welcome.
And lots of thanks from everyone.
All right, bye.